Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today's new video is my NFL top 5 running back duos going into 2021. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or the GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on the YouTube page. Follow me, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, at NW Sports Fanatics. Had some weird messages pop up on the screen there, but I'm excited about today's show, and it's something that was a little interesting to me. We had LaDainian Tomlinson, LT. Sometimes when people say LT, you think Lawrence Taylor. If you're a little bit older, the OG, triple OG from the Giants, linebacker, one of the best of all time. But I'm not talking about Lawrence Taylor. I'm going to talk about LaDainian Tomlinson. So he came out with his NFL top 5 running back duos, on Good Morning Football, NFL Network, just going over what he thinks that the top 5 duos going into 2021. And this is according to LaDainian Tomlinson. So when he did his, I figured, you know what, let me do mine, and I'll show you how I am not biased. I'm going to actually correct a lot of mistakes that LaDainian Tomlinson made, all right? And obviously, if you're biased towards, people on your team, teams you used to play for, everyone's got a little bit of bias, but I don't, and I'm going to let you know my NFL top 5 running back duos going into 2021, and a lot of it has to do with having great offensive lines. The talent at running back is undeniable, but when you end up having an elite or Pro Bowl offensive line, just like my top 5 picks do, I really feel that that's going to increase a lot of the productivity, the run blocking, the pass blocking, and seeing the shiftiness of these running backs. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. If you haven't smashed the fucking like button just yet, please do. Your boy's grinding. This is the 4th stream and the 4th day after getting everything figured out based off all the analytics and the metrics and the bit rate and the settings. So, your boy's grinding. So worked a full, long 8-9 hour day, big warehouse, lots of semi trucks coming in, unloading a lot of the merch, and it was tiring today. But you know what? Even when you're tired, if you love something and you have a grind, you're going to do it. Smash the fucking like button. Donate to your boy. You can do it on Cash App, or you can do it on here. I'll do the Cash App here real quick. It'll be in the notes below. But I always just like to let people know, if you want to support the NWSF any way that you can, every dollar counts. So let's do this real quick. All right, boom. There it is in the chat. Cash App, $ OrionNWSF. If you can, awesome. If you can't, no worries. Your boy's always going to be grinding. I'm always going to be hustling. And if you have a dream and you have a passion and you would do it for free, that's when you know you got a lane and you got something special. I love talking to you guys and sharing my knowledge, based off all the film and all the reading. But LaDainian Tomlinson came out with this information in his top 5 running back duos. And I want to go over his first, and then I'll give you the real version, and I'll show you that I really do know football. Andrew A., hit the fucking like button, little thumbs up fucking emoji. Fucking listen to Andrew A., ANDR9WA. Listen to him. Northwest Sports Fanatics, Cash App, $ OrionNWSF, Ryan Schrick, Kyle Long got injured. I saw that. I listen to Pat McAfee show every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon. I always listen to Good Morning Football every morning, all right? So it doesn't matter if it's Kyle Brandt or Peter Schrager or Nate Burleson, who just got the Emmy, or Kay Adams. Your boy's always on the NFL Network and the Pat McAfee show. Heard about it, and while a lot of rivals would be like, good, fuck you, Ryan. Fuck you, Kyle Long. Fuck you, Chiefs fans. That's what people, out in the division, maybe Chargers fans are thinking, maybe Raiders fans, Broncos fans, or just rivals like maybe the Bills and the Browns and a lot of these other teams. They're like, well, fuck the Chiefs. Fuck Kyle Long getting hurt. But you can't say that, man. This guy retired, lost, the interest and the passion for football, was on the Bears, played on my Ducks, great player, dad Howie Long, great lineage, right? Great genes. And then, wasn't really satisfied with the GM and the front office, decided to retire. Then they ended up, signing him. And, this is just a little setback. I know I heard it might have been like some kind of kneecap issue, lower leg injury. Hopefully it ends up being where He'll be ready right at the beginning of the season. But think about this. You don't need to necessarily play him in September. Make sure he's right, because you want to have your offensive lineman the strongest in December, January, February. You want to make sure that you got your guys healthy. So, winning games in September and October, sure, are important. But that stretch in November, December, January, going into February for Super Bowl, if you make it, that's what it's about. But when I heard that Kyle Long got injured, I definitely was not happy about that, because you got to think, they spent all this money and they ended up moving salary cap, making these contracts happen, getting a lot of their studs to come back. They had a good draft, and then they ended up trading and getting Orlando Brown from, the Ravens stud. He wanted to play left tackle. They said, hey, play right tackle. He said, no thanks. Boom, you get him over there. That corrects a problem, based on the players that they had last season. Not that, the guys that they had, Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher, are bad. They're not. They were studs, right? But just getting a little bit older and a little injury prone. So then you upgrade the position with Orlando Brown, right? He's great. Like, I'm talking great. Like, I would take him on Tampa Bay in a heartbeat. He's that good, okay? And then you get Joe Thuney, who's definitely a good player, a good offensive lineman, right? Then you end up having, Lawrence Duvernay, Tardif, doing the COVID doctor thing. He'll be back. Niang will be back. You had Kyle Long. He was going to start, right? You even got Creed, from college. So it's interesting to see a lot of these guys. And Creed, he's nasty. He's going to get some time, especially now, I think, with a lot of these injuries and people shifting around. But when I heard that Kyle Long got injured, I know some people would be hating on him. It's like, good, the Chiefs, we don't want them. Just like how people talk shit about my Tampa Bay Bucks. Fuck Tampa. We don't want them to win again. Fuck Tom Brady. Fuck Orion. We don't want to see no Buccaneers, anything. But you got to think how bad I was for all those years. Chiefs fans, right, they love it. I'm a fan of watching great football, and there might not be anything better or funner to watch than a Chiefs football game, and I'm a Bucks fan. I mean, that's just must-see TV, eyes glued to the TV when Mahomes is out there, Kelsey's out there, Tyreek is out there. Those are the three most exciting players in the NFL that aren't on my team or on some of the other awesome teams that are out there in the NFL. But when you watch those three, fastest player, best tight end, best quarterback. I mean, how can you not be intrigued and be a little jealous, you know what I mean, that you wish you had guys like that on your team? Even though I beat them in the Super Bowl, I recognize greatness when I see it. And some people thinking, Mahomes isn't that good. You're kidding yourself. This guy's going to win a lot of awards. He's going to get a lot of touchdowns, yards, not a lot of interceptions, breaking records. And like I told you before, I thought if anyone, could go 6,060 TDs, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. And don't be surprised if he does it. Like I said, I have these visions and I, kind of talk them into fruition. So if I say something, more than likely it's going to happen. And I haven't got a Super Bowl winner wrong in like 20 years. All right. So I think I know what I'm talking about, especially when I go through the football circles. $1.99, Andrew A., my boy, appreciate it. Getting it started, my guy. But when Kyle Long got injured, definitely I'm hoping for the best for him. Prayers up, T's and P's. As Pat McAfee would say, thoughts and prayers, T's and P's. All right, we want him to be healthy because I want them to have the best offensive line possible. I'm excited to be able to see what they can do out there. Dylan, W26, just Dylan now. Raiders? No. Steelers. Your boy knows everybody. Trey Smith getting a chance, and word is he'll be good by week one. Shriek, not the news that I wanted to hear with Long, but you know what? The team is awesome. Don't worry about it. They'll be good. What will the Rams duo be? That's a good question. I mean, more than likely, I would say Cam Akers. You had Malcolm Brown. You had a three-headed horse, in the rotation. So, I mean, I'm just going Andrew. I'm just thinking Cam Akers one, and then whoever you want to rotate in that second spot, even though they had Donald Brown and some of those other guys get the time before him, and they kind of traded off week to week for the bigger backs. Cam Akers was just kind of waiting for his time to shine. But I think that he's got the most talent, and he should be the number one. And then if you want to do like a Malcolm Brown or any other rotation of any of the other running backs on the squad, you definitely can do that, Andrew A. Trey Smith from Tennessee was a first-round talent who fell to the seventh because he had blood clots in his lungs 2 years ago. Missed a season other than he went 2 for 2 all-SEC team as a guard. Memopolis, Dodgers, what'd it do? Andrew A. Bang, $2. Best duo is Herbert and Allen, Memopolis. Well, we're talking about running back duos. All right, so I disagree, but I love those guys. I'm an Oregon Duck guy through and through. I love Herbert, top 10 quarterback already. And guess what? Keenan Allen, he's one of my favorites. He is the most underrated superstar wide receiver besides Allen Robinson on the Bears. It makes me sick. You can throw Diggs in that conversation as well, but it's one of those things. Darrell Henderson obviously is better than Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown's the third, but I mean, it just depends on wherever you want to go, Ruiz. But Akers and Hendo, Akers and Brown, I mean, however you want to do it, the offensive line just needs to keep getting better and better and better when they had like the Gurley success, and then that took them all the way to the Super Bowl. And I wouldn't expect anything less from your squad this year as well. Yeah, Memopolis, hey, I'll help you out. Sometimes people look at the title. Sometimes they don't. Nathan Dotson, my boy, he got the notification. Hallelujah. Oh, Brown is gone. Okay, because I was thinking that I didn't think he was still there. You know what I mean? So you got Henderson, right? You got Cam Akers. Who's third option now? Ruiz, being the Rams super fan, a.k.a. Ramily. All right, let me know. Who's third, fourth string on the squad moving forward? I would like to know. That's definitely a question that I want to be able to kind of see. Oh, man, I'm getting a fucking thing here popping up on my screen. I thought that this problem was over with all the shit that I had going on. So we will see. I'm hoping this bitch will disappear so that way that I can continue the stream. I'm just looking at me on the screen to see if it's going to crap out on me or not, but it looks like it's kind of holding up. Oh, the rookie. Okay. God damn this fucking thing. All right, come on now. Open up for me. I got all these applications up, so hopefully it's all good. Looks like it's good on the screen. I'm not really seeing anything big happen here, but hopefully it ends up clearing up on its own. That's facts. But Brown is gone. Thanks for the heads up. You know what I mean? Gurley went to Detroit, and he's visiting other teams, but hasn't signed yet. Sounds like he wants more money than maybe he's worth. Not sure what you're really going to get from him moving forward, but I mean, he's got a little value. He's never going to be the player that he was, but it is what it is. He said, oh, running back, didn't even see that. LOL, Memopolis, it's all good. Nathan Dotson in the building. Ruiz in the building. He said, Brown is gone. My boy. Chubb and Hunt, number one. Yeah, you'll know who I put there. Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor, baby. I'm going to the Colts and Rams game in Indy. Sarah Small, like that. Naheem Hines, actually, he's just as valuable as a Marlon Mack, maybe more. Naheem Hines might be on my list as well. All right. Dylan. Orion, earlier today I went back and watched your reaction to Steelers versus Bucks from a few years ago. Is that the one where, oh boy, got stiff-armed to fucking Venus and never got up? Yeah, probably when I had Jameis Winston, you guys fucking torched me. Yeah, it's always cool to go back and look at some of the old videos from back in the day. The Rook Campbell. Okay. Bro, I was watching the stream delayed this whole time. Come on, Memopolis. Did Gurley find a team yet? Not yet, but he is in Baltimore now. But they already got Lamar Jackson. He's like running back one, right? You got J.K. Dobbins. That's kind of like running back two, even though we'll see if he ends up being the guy. You got Gus Edwards, so they got a lot of different running backs. If you put Gurley in there, I'm not sure if that's a really good fit, but I mean, hey, you can never have enough offense. You need more wide receivers really than anything. You got Mark Andrews, now you got Bateman, who I'm really excited about. I think he's going to be able to be a stud for him. But it all depends on the offensive line and the defense. That's really the keys for the Ravens and if making the playoffs and how far that they really go. Dylan's like, yeah, it was that one. You guys stiff-armed me to hell. It was your tight end, I think. And you just fucking stiff-arm my guys to hell, all of them. Come to the Chargers, please. I see you. Gurley production went down tremendously. Of course, when the offensive line was better for the Rams, you saw him do better, and when the offensive line with Whitworth and certain guys retiring and getting injured or getting older, right? It's all about offensive line. People want to give all the love to the Le'Veon Bell back in the day and the Todd Gurley, but they failed to recognize, hey, maybe it's the offensive line really making the running back look a lot better than maybe he really is if he went to a shitty offensive line. Not everyone can be Barry Sanders, right? And be on a shitty offensive line besides like Lomas Brown, right? And then dominate. Sometimes a 90-yard touchdown, sometimes a loss of 19. Barry Sanders was crazy like that. He'll give you horrible losses, but he'll just bust one off for like 84 and he'll be, gone to the house. So it's one of those things that the offensive line, is a big part of certain guys like Emmitt Smith. But if Emmitt Smith had Detroit's line, how good would he have been, really? Now, if Barry Sanders had Emmitt Smith's line, Leon Led and company, when they had Aikman, Irvin, and Emmitt Smith, think about how many more yards Barry would have had with that amazing top offensive line for about 5 years, right? Compared to the worst offensive line, and he still was one of the, arguably the best running back of all time, and he had the shittiest offensive line. 10 years, 10 Pro Bowls, retired. They did him dirty, didn't want to be back there. Obviously same thing with Megatron and everything like that. But Barry Sanders, definitely my favorite, that I've seen, live in person with my own two eyes. That's big facts. Let's see here. Seth Warner, yo, Ryan, what up, homie? I said my brownies better be number one on the list. Hey, definitely I'm going to be able to. Sometimes I'm going to put the number one duo, in the thumbnail or maybe in the picture. Sometimes it might be number two or number three. I just like to kind of, mix it up a little bit so it's not as predictable for everyone. You know what I mean? Try to show love to all of the organizations and the players I like. I see Alvin in the corner. Damn right you do, all right? I mean, I'm a Bucks fan, but I ain't fucking stupid. Amber M, yo, hi, chat and hi, Ryan, what to do? Yeah, Brown's number one. Did you see New Jack passed away, Nathan Dotson? Of course I did, bro. I'm watching AEW. I'm watching wrestling. Rest in peace, New Jack, the craziest mofo. Him and Mustafa. Used to watch that in ECW. A great duo for tag teams as well. It's funny, as we talk about duo and tag teams, on Facebook right now, my background image is Legion of Doom, Animal and Hawk, the Road Warriors. I don't know why. They were always my favorite tag team growing up, and it's just funny that we're talking about duos, and I made that like my background picture. Never done that before. It's always usually a picture of me or a picture of me and my dad at like a sporting event. But I don't know. Maybe I just had a little Legion of Doom fire. Oh, what a rush. Fucking love them. Let's see. Ruiz, LA Rams. Yeah, O-line was good, but Gurley was on another level. Watch that screen pass versus Titans in 17. Speed and power. Absolutely. Gurley was a freak. You know what I mean? But the offensive line definitely opened up a lot of holes for him to be able to take a play that maybe would have went 5 or 12, maybe 70 to 80, and he definitely has that athleticism. Hardy Boys beat best tag team all time. Come on, Ryan. No. I mean, you got to think, I'm older than you, so I've been, growing up since the early 80s. So I've seen the birth of the Hulkamania, Ric Flair in his prime, Ultimate Warrior, Legion of Doom, DX, NWO, ECW, RVD, Sabu. I mean, I've seen it all. Hardy Boys are great. You know what I mean? But there's quite a few. 32. I'm 39. All right. So Legion of Doom, to me, I mean, you can go Edge and Christian, were great, right? Right. The Dudley Boys were great. He said NWSF, the fucking GOAT. Zachary, my boy, you know it. New world order for life, brother. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, right? Better than the Hardys. Legion of Doom, better than the Hardys. I mean, Road Dogg and Jesse James, DX. Pretty entertaining. You had Bret Hart, right? And Owen Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation, better. So the Hardys are great. Jeff and Matt are incredible. I love them to death. But even the Young Bucks on, AEW right now are better than the Hardys. They're kind of the new 2021 age Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys are great. Yeah, bro. I know. And everyone thinks that, I'm in my late 20s or my early 30s. But, for being someone that's getting a little bit older in age, I mean, I'm Asian. So, I'm half Asian, half Czech, European. So obviously when you have that, when you have the good skin, I got my mom's good skin and my good genetics. But yeah, 39, like I said, how do you think I know all this goddamn information? I mean, I'm not, 18, I'm not 22. I've been reading, and I've been a Northwest sports fanatic for fucking 35 years, 30, 40 years, when everyone else was, dicking around, playing cartoons or watching cartoons, playing video games. I was doing that shit too, but I was reading stats on the back of football cards, looking at the colleges and the yards, and, I was doing that hella early, like 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old. So yeah, 39 years old. Believe it or not. No, that's crazy. I said DX and Hardys were my favorite. Yeah, DX was great. Wolfpack, NWO, DX. I mean, Hayabusa, Sabu, and RVD were better than the Hardys. I mean, go back and watch, Sabu and RVD. Go watch, the Dudley Boys. 3D, baby. I mean, we can get into a whole conversation for wrestling. That's not even part of the video today. I'm talking about my NFL top 5 running back duos, and somehow we just start talking about wrestling, which I could do as well. You know what I mean? Northwest Wrestling Fanatics, which is me. Right? You know what I mean? I got a couple of my buddies, Preston, Swaggy P's, a wrestling guy too, my boy, Jay Graves, but Jay Graves is too shy, you know what I mean? And maybe one day I'll convince him. He's the one, if you ever see the Instagram or if you see pictures on Twitter at me, like at a Mariners game or at a Seahawks game or at a Ducks game, and you see that, the guy with the glasses that's with me in the picture, that's my boy Jay Graves. He's big Denver Bronco fan, big wrestling fan, but he's the one that I road trip with specifically besides Swaggy P, which I, do once in a while as well, but going to Seattle, going to Mariners, going to, the Seahawks, going to see the Ducks at Autzen, going to the Blazer games. I mean, he's the ride or die sport homie that I go with. So absolutely miss him. Haven't seen him in a little while, but hope to see him soon. Kane and Undertaker as well. So let's go over LaDainian Tomlinson's list, because this is the reasoning why I did this fucking video, to show you that not only am I the least biased motherfucker on planet Earth, I got some knowledge and I'm fucking smart, right? And sometimes these NFL guys, I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson, first ballot Hall of Famer, great. All right, when I say LT or think of LT, I think Lawrence Taylor first, because I'm a little older, but LaDainian Tomlinson was always one of my favorite running backs all time. Coming out of TCU, Horned Frogs, okay? Watch out for them. And he had a great career for the Chargers, and that's one of the main reasons why my buddy Joey Gomez, who's going to be, paired up with me, doing some games here this season, big Charger fan. It's a big reason why he became a Charger fan, seeing LaDainian Tomlinson and watching him in college. I mean, there hasn't been too many guys in college where I'm like, wow. LaDainian Tomlinson was one of them. Ricky Williams, when he was on Texas, was another. You got guys like Najee Harris last year, kind of a wow factor. But there's, plenty of guys that were awesome in college, but those kind of really stand out within the last few years. So LaDainian Tomlinson, this is according to him on NFL Network and NFL Total Access. All right, and comment below if you guys agree or disagree or what you think. But the list isn't bad. It's actually a pretty fucking good list. And LaDainian played running back. He ain't no fucking dummy. At number 5, LaDainian Tomlinson, top 5 running back duos. And this may not be the 2 best players, but maybe it's the players that are going to do the best in 2021. And a lot of them have great offensive lines, and you'll see my reasoning. Or maybe he just thinks that these are the best duos. Maybe they're not going to just get the best stats, but maybe these are the best to him. So number 5, stud, all right, from Wisconsin, and another stud, very underrated. We're talking about the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. So they actually have that instead of Marlon Mack. They got the Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, that third down back. I like that combo. There are, I would say they're in my top 5 as well. I think Jonathan Taylor is one of the best, down for down backs. You have Josh Jacobs from the Raiders, and he was the best, 3 down back from the prior draft. So you're definitely excited when you end up getting a Josh Jacobs or a Jonathan Taylor. And I'll tell you what, when Tampa was available to draft, I was praying that I would get Josh Jacobs. I was praying to get Jonathan Taylor, like no cap, just because I haven't had a good running back, a solid one, since Mike Allstott. If you remember, I had Mike Allstott and Work Done. They were great. Then I had Allstott. Michael Pittman came over when I had my Super Bowl run, right? But, I mean, it's like Doug Martin. Rojo's pretty good and Fournette is pretty good. You know what I mean? But the offensive line definitely makes them look better. But I haven't had that, wow, Mike Allstott, guy that plays fullback that can play running back. I want that again. I want to have that stud 3 down back like Leonard Fournette used to be a top 5 running back when he was on the Jags with, Blake Bortles, but now he's probably like a top 20. He doesn't have the same, type of feeling like Le'Veon Bell used to or Todd Gurley used to. I mean, just a couple years ago, these guys were some of the best, and now it's like you're almost a forgotten thought, which is very sad. But LaDainian Tomlinson, number 5, Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. Number 4, a team that I think is going to go to the playoffs. One guy just got a little extra money, and another guy has got hops for days. We're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. 2 running backs that I actually love. They actually are, J.K. Dobbins from The Ohio State University. He's a shifty guy that can catch, footballs in the backfield, shake and bake, just like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly from Step Brothers, all right, or Talladega Nights, shake and bake, you feel me? But, Dobbins is going to take his game to the next level. He's going to be one of those breakout guys, and they're going to make the playoffs doing it. Gus Edwards is a great, change of pace, third down back. He's a little bit more of a power back and a goal line back, and you need that, especially if you're going to make your run, so that way it's not just Lamar Action Jackson, new wave, doing big things with his legs all the time. Got to keep him fresh. Got to keep him upright. All right, number 3, the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Jones. Who? Aaron Jones. A little Mike Jones reference. If you're a little bit younger, you might not know who Mike Jones is, but I would hope you would look it up. And you know all about the scene in Houston, H-Town, all right? Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Though they've had a three-headed horse at running back for quite some time. A.J. Dillon, he's got names for his quads and his legs. He's nasty. He ain't like Saquon Barkley, but he definitely is one of those guys that will be put on the scene this season. He's going to get a lot of opportunities, especially if Aaron Rodgers is in Denver, is on the Raiders, in Miami, or somewhere else. But if he ends up staying there, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Who? Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Jamal Williams is nice too. He's no longer on the team. He actually went with MCDC. I believe he's on the Detroit Lions now. So Jamal Williams was better to me than, A.J. Dillon, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing in Green Bay. Green Bay is a clusterfuck. The thing is if you're the general manager, right, of the Green Bay Packers, like, you are probably the most powerful person in the NFL based off like decision making, because there's no owner. The people, right, are owners, part owners of the team. So they don't have like one guy, like a Jerry Jones, controlling everything. So if you're like the GM or the guy that's, making the shots and making the moves, coons, all right? That's why all this dumb shit is happening, because you're not having someone hold someone accountable when they're doing something fucking dumb. Now, coons and LaFleur might be fucked. They fucking shit on Aaron, you know what I mean? And, you can think Jordan Love's going to be good or whatever you want to think, but that's a huge fucking downgrade, you got another option there as well, depending on who you want to go to. If you want to go with the vet, right? Or if you want to go with Jordan Love, Blake Bortles, Jordan Love. Bortles got some experience, but they need Aaron Rodgers. Dillon, you learn something new every day. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What? Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones II. And this isn't me. This is LaDainian Tomlinson, and he knows, right? But what it is more of a credit to the offensive line. Go look at the offensive line with Tristan Wirfs and company. They were, ranked one of the worst offensive lines last season. The secondary was ranked 32nd. The Gravediggers, all right? They ain't no 32 out of 32. By the time the season ended and we were on our run in December, we had 2 top 10 squads on the offensive line and in the secondary overall in the NFL. So there was huge strides to be made. So everyone wants to say Brady and Gronk and AB. No. The main reason that we won, besides guys like Devin White making plays and Antoine Winfield Jr., but like I said, it was the secondary, it was the defense that really rallied everything. Of course, Brady was a big part of it too, but the offensive line did such a fantastic job, and when you got great offensive line play, you're always going to have a chance to be in a game, run blocking, pass blocking, if you have good coaching, but then the defense has to dictate the tempo. And the secondary and the offensive line don't get enough credit, but that's the reason why we went on our long run and we won the Super Bowl. Facts, period. You can say, oh, Gronk got 2 touchdowns and AB got 1 and Brady, hooray, he's a GOAT. No. For me, give the love to the offensive line and Tristan Wirfs, getting the best offensive lineman in the draft. And he didn't even go number 1. He had Andrew Thomas from the Giants go ahead of him. Mekhi Becton from the Jets go ahead of him. So definitely a little swag and chip on the shoulder, from the Iowa Hawkeyes. So happy we got him. I knew he would be a great fit for the squad. And then getting guys like Antoine Winfield Jr. on the back end and guys sleeping on Carlton Davis, sleeping on Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jamel Dean and Mike Edwards. And it's just amazing, man. But this is crazy. This is crazy. LaDainian Tomlinson thinks Leonard Fournette and Rojo are number 2 overall duo over Aaron Jones. Who? Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines. And we're not even talking about Zeke and Tony Pollard. I got a fucking shitload of names that I can go over. But LaDainian Tomlinson, obviously, he likes what he sees with the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Tampa Bay Bucks. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is. It's time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. That should be trademarked, all right? Madden stole it from me. Good Morning Football, NFL Network. It's like every time I come up with certain catchphrases, they got social media teams on ESPN, Fox Sports, Good Morning Football. I see the things on Twitter. I see the things on TV. It's cool. It's flattering, but come up with your own material, Instead of, someone call 911, they said, someone call the authorities. Come on. We all know who's coming up with the great material, and it ain't ESPN or it ain't NFL Network, all right? It's people like me on YouTube, that are creative, that's going to be able to show certain things out there, and it catches on, and they're like, oh, I like that. But call the authorities, god damn it. Be more creative, or at least give me some fucking credit, give me some goddamn credit, all right? So, number 1, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And it's amazing how Kareem Hunt, how great he was in his rookie season. Then he had the whole kicking the girlfriend or his, hookup girl in the elevator, and then in like the hallway, and then got cut. Just imagine if he was still there, how great he would be. That's why this duo is so great, because Kareem Hunt is a true number 1 running back. If he was on another team, he would be a top 10 running back in this league, in my opinion. He's that good. He's shifty. He's got good ball control. He plays angry. He's a great player, and I feel the Chiefs, they probably miss him. But for, purposes, of legal and, being a good face in the media, and, people don't like it when you beat on women. People don't like it when, you do things like maybe Deshaun Watson did or did not do. You know what I mean? Or you getting little handies like Kraft at the Asian massage parlor. The NFL circles, NFL fans, they frown upon things like that. That's not, necessarily the thing that you want to hear or see. But LaDainian Tomlinson, okay? Jonathan Taylor, Naheem Hines, 5. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, 4. Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones, and A.J. Dillon, 3. Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, 2. And Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, number 1. So right now, as a Bucs fan, normally would I be like, I would be like, hey, Tampa Bay Bucks, number 1. I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson, he's right. The Bucks should be number 1. We got the best duo. When you hear these crazy people that are biased or say dumb shit. I don't even have, I think, let me look at my list that I make. I don't even think that I have, let me look at my my list here. They might be on the borderline 5 spot or 6 spot for Rojo and Fournette. But the main reason that I have my guys set up the way that I do, it's based off the offensive line. All right. The offensive line is really big. All right. J.K. Dobbins is great. But you got to think, Kareem Hunt, right, is a every down back. J.K. Dobbins is more of a third down back, catch a screen pass. He might not be able to handle being a 3 down back. J.K. Dobbins will never be a top 10 running back, I don't think, in this league. And if he ends up being it, it'll be at the bottom of the top 10, like 9th, 10th. I just don't think that he's got the Mark Ingram in him. Like, when he had that 15 to 20 touchdown kind of year. So I don't really see that. So a little honorable mentions, and guys you got to mention, Zeke and Tony Pollard. No one's talking about Zeke. If he ends up having a good season, we hope, that he can stay healthy. Dak can stay healthy so the Cowboys are relevant. Tony Pollard's not too bad, but not on my list. You got J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. That's the main honorable mention. I put them right on the outside, looking in. Offensive line could be a little bit better, but they definitely, are worthy of 2 of the best, kind of lower name guys. 2 3 down, like third down option backs on the same team. But like I said, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Zeke, Tony Pollard, those guys need to be recognized. And I think that if Zeke can have a good year and stay healthy, and Pollard can stay healthy, they could be definitely 2 of the top 5, in that list easily. Because Zeke normally is a top 5 running back every year. And then when he went down, Pollard had some flashes of greatness. So we're going to have to see where that goes. But J.K. Dobbins, I love him breaking out this year, as well as Gus Edwards. So at number 5, even though LaDainian Tomlinson had my Buccaneers, Rojo, and Leonard Fournette at 2, I put them at my number 5, but it's close with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. And the main reason is I think there's a lot of duos that are better. They have more skills, but I think with the offensive line, what I think that they are going to be doing this season, we have a top 10 offensive line in this league. You could argue we might have a top 5 offensive line in this league going into 2021. All right. So if that's the case, I think Rojo and Fournette, playoff Lenny, Lombardi Lenny, message from Golden Eagle, what to do. I just think that those 2 guys are going to be able to have great chemistry with the offensive line with a full offseason after winning the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay is in the house. All right. I got my Derek Brooks jersey on right now. Hard hat from 2000 on NFL Shop. You can't get this bitch anymore. You feel me? Rare. All right. But at Rojo and Fournette, rare, medium rare, like a steak. These guys are special. Rojo's the guy that can be the third down back. Sometimes he gets to a point, where he's a 20 to the 20 kind of running back. Fournette is more of, on the red zone, on the 5, on the 10, a guy that can break a 30-yard, burst and run over a couple guys. And you need that Leonard Fournette, type of running back. So at number 5, I got my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, I honestly feel we got a great chance to repeat. And that's not me, just being like every other Buck fan or like maybe a Chiefs fan. Like the Chiefs, when they won it the year before, and they said, hey, we're going to try to go back and win 2, you already knew they were the best team in the AFC and they were going to represent themselves in the AFC Championship. And I had a feeling the Chiefs would be in the Super Bowl. I didn't know if Tampa Bay was even going to be able to get to the NFC Championship game. But when you have that confidence and feeling, you're bringing back all 22 starters, offense, defense, BA, right? Barry and Leftwich. And we got the best DC arguably in the game right now with Todd Bowles. There's a few others that are very, very nice in the league. Chargers got one. There's a lot of good defensive minds that are out there. But Todd Bowles is fantastic. Love him. So I think that with the offensive line play, even though Fournette is no longer a top 5 running back, he's top 20, right? And Rojo is a top 25 running back. Sometimes plays like a top 10. Right, but sometimes he plays, mediocre, 40, 30 yards, nothing too special. But I think with the offensive line in that pairing, I'm thinking NFC Championship game against the Rams. That's what I want. It goes Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Stafford. I want to play the best of the best if it ends up being them. And I feel we're the 2 best teams in the NFC right now today, right? And I'm going to have my offensive line, Rojo and playoff Lenny, do exactly what they did last season. I think they're underrated, and I think the offensive line is underrated. Secondary is underrated. People know that we won the Super Bowl, but we're hungry. You know what I mean? We're trying to maximize this Tom Brady window. And you got to think, I had Jameis Winston, and prior to that, I hadn't gone to the playoffs since 2007. All right? So he said, that's not what I want, but good luck. Hey, you know what I mean? I'm always humble about it. You know what I mean? And if you see things a certain way, give credit where credit's due, good things happen. I don't think it's that crazy, to think that we can't win one more, within the next couple years. If Brady stays for 3 more years, do you really think that Tampa can't win one more or get to at least one more NFC Championship game in the next 3 years if he doesn't fall off and we keep a good majority of the squad? I think there's a great chance to get one more or at least get to one more Super Bowl and lose. To maybe Kansas City or to a different team. That's possible, but I think there's at least an opportunity to get to an NFC Championship game or another Super Bowl as long as Brady's there and the squad is intact. But I love Rojo and I love Fournette. I'd rather have them than J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards. Zeke and Tony Pollard are great, but Zeke gets injured too much. Rojo and Leonard Fournette at number 5. LaDainian Tomlinson had him at number 2. Man, that's crazy that he has that much respect, but maybe he knows that Tampa is going to win the Super Bowl. I have a good feeling that we can go for 2, and maybe he thinks that we're just going to dominate, and the offensive line is top 10, and we're going to run things again. I'm hoping. Number 5, Rojo and Leonard Fournette, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 4, one of the most dominating running backs in college from the University of Wisconsin Badgers. Now he's on the Colts, and he's running shit with Quentin Nelson and company. He's going to be with Carson Wentz. Not too big on him. But this guy I am, Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. Not Marlon Mack, but Nyheim Hines. I think Nyheim Hines is kind of like a Chase Edmonds that I was mentioning in last night's video. Very underrated. When Nyheim Hines goes in when Taylor has an injury or he's the third down back, he can score 2 touchdowns in a game for you in like a blink of an eye. You know what I mean? You can look at the stat line and you're like, damn, Nyheim Hines, 88 yards and 2 tutters. Like, you're like, whoa. Or sometimes he maybe will get over 100 and he's a good pass catching back and he can run. He's a dual threat. So with him and, obviously Jonathan Taylor being that 3-down horse, he's exactly what I wanted for Tampa Bay. And I'll say it right now. Out of all the running backs in the league, if I could have one running back join Tampa that I think that would be a good fit in free agency starting next year and beyond, it would be Dalvin Cook. So if I talk this into existence, remember this day, June 10th, 2021, Orion from NWSF says the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Dalvin Cook are connected. Now, if that ends up happening and I get Dalvin Cook while Brady is still there, can you just imagine the games and what I'm going to be able to do if I still got Mike Evans and Godwin, even though if Gronk and AB are gone? But Dalvin Cook, even though I don't think he might be the best running back in the NFL, he's definitely top 5, in most circles and most conversations. Yes, I know you got Saquon, CMC, Zeke, right? But the new wave, you got Derrick Henry back-to-back, AK-41, Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. So there's a lot of conversation. Now you got Najee Harris. He's going to be a stud. You know what I mean? So it's all about perception. But I love Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. I got to put him on my list at number 4. I would rather have those 2 than Rojo and Fournette. Just based off talent. Jonathan Taylor is younger, faster, stronger, just the ideal Tampa Bay Buccaneer that I would be super proud of. And I don't buy offensive player jerseys. I buy Derek Brooks. I buy Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp. I got defensive guys. You know what I mean? A couple offensive ones that I got in the closet, Keyshawn, and who else do I have? Doug Williams, Creamsicle, Doug Martin, because I thought he was going to be the guy. You know what I mean? But it's just, I like the Devin Whites, the Derek Brooks, the Levante Davids. I like my safeties and my corners, my linebackers, and my D-line and edge rusher jerseys. I'd rather get an offensive lineman jersey really than an offensive player. I mean, I could always get a Brady or a Mike Evans or a Godwin or a Gronk or an AB, but I probably won't. Maybe a Brady just to have it as a memory and throw it in the closet before it becomes a throwback like a Mitchell and Ness. Maybe get a Brady, like white one, sewn, with the Super Bowl patch, but I don't think they make it. They make like the red one and the smoke one. It's like, no, I want the one that they wore. Give me that one, and I can buy the patch and I can sew it on. And if you're not going to, bring it sewn, like I'll pay the money. But I don't know. I like offensive linemen. I don't have an offensive lineman jersey, so that's why I'm kind of like, that'd be really cool to be able to have one. And if you, Joe Juravicius, Keenan McCardell, Keyshawn Johnson, Ken Dilger, your boy knows Rondé Barber, John Lynch, right? Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Booger McFarland, fucking Booger, idiot. But I have the squad, you know what I mean? But the defense, something else. But I got to give love to Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. You got Quentin Nelson, arguably the best offensive line in football, or at least top 2, top 3. I got the Saints up there as well. Very, very good offensive line. Something that you wish that you had. Quentin Nelson arguably might go down in history as the best offensive lineman consideration ever, best maybe guard ever. I mean, he is crazy good. I mean, I would love to have a player like Quentin Nelson on the squad. He's the guy, like first ballot Hall of Famer, pancakes the shit out of you. He can pull, he makes everyone on your offensive line work harder and play better. I mean, there's been guys, so many great. Orlando Pace, comes out to mind. You know what I mean? There's just certain guys that you see at like number 1 pick or top 5 pick, and like Orlando Pace was the dude for the Rams. You knew that he was going to be good. There's been, Dermontti Dawson. I mean, there's been so many. Steve Hutchinson, for the Vikings and the Seahawks. There's been, so many great. Walter Jones from the Seahawks. I mean, there's just certain guys on the offensive line, Anthony Munoz, and you're just like, wow, Leon Lett. You're just like, God, I wish I had some of these guys on the squad. But Quentin Nelson definitely is the catalyst of that offensive line. Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, they're going to the playoffs. And guess what? Rojo, Leonard Fournette, Bucks, good offensive line, right? Number 4, Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, Colts, great offensive line. Better than Bucks, right? Like so much better. All right? Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. Number three has got 2 studs. Don't know about their quarterback if he's going to be on the team this year. But if he's not, imagine these guys' stats are going to go through the fucking roof. Who is it? Aaron Jones. Who? Aaron Jones. And A.J. Dillon. So I think with both of these guys, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, they're going to be throwing the ball less and handing the ball off more. Aaron Jones, to me, is a top 10 running back in this league. Sometimes he'll put up top 3 numbers. He's that good, top 5 numbers. But it just seems like a lot of times Aaron Jones' name gets left out of the category, just like Devontae Adams' name was kind of left out of being a top 5 wide receiver for a while, besides last year. And then now a lot of people think, like myself, he's the best wide receiver in the game today. If I was going to take one wide receiver out of anyone, even though Tyreek the Freak Hill would be very, very tempting, I would go probably Devontae Adams, just based off his little skip at the, point of the offensive line and at the point of the snap. He does the whole Doug Baldwin thing where it's as soon as he, hears the ball hiked, he does a little skip, a little juke, very hard to guard, great hands, a guy that can lead the league with yards, touchdowns, yak yards. I mean, he's just a dual threat. Good red zone target. I mean, he really gives you everything. And I don't think it's just an Aaron Rodgers product. Of course, he made him. But I think that if he went to another team, he would be just as dominant. It's just a matter of, instead of maybe getting, 15 to 20 touchdowns, maybe you're getting like 8 to 12 if the quarterback is not Aaron Rodgers-ish, and which is possible. But you're still one of the top 10, wide receivers in the league. But A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, love their games. They're going to be power backs. Green Bay has always been blessed and also maybe cursed with just, the same quarterback, 2 of them in the last 30 years, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, right? They're spoiled. Before that was Bart Starr. I mean, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? But now if you don't, have an owner, the GM Kunta Kuntz, he's got the most power in the NFL besides Roger Goodell. He calls the shots. And if you're going to treat Aaron Rodgers like this, what makes Jordan Love think that, they'll just give his ass the boot. He's not the long-term answer. Blake Bortles is not the long-term answer. So even though Green Bay is a popular team, right? Cool jerseys. They look like my Oregon Ducks. Love them, right? But Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are going to tear it up. Aaron Jones, if in fantasy football or if you just watch him, he's usually in the top 5 in touchdowns, even though he's not considered a top 5 running back. Great player, and you got to think their offensive line isn't the same. They have David Bakhtiari, one of the best offensive linemen in football, period. But Bulaga used to be there. You had Bulaga and Bakhtiari, David, Brian, right? But Bulaga now is with my boy, Justin Herbert, so it's not as good. But you still see Aaron Jones, and I think A.J. Dillon will still be able to dominate. All of them have good offensive lines. Number 3, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Number 2, number 2 has got my favorite running back in the league. I'm a Buccaneers fan. Who's my favorite running back in the league? AK-41. I gave him that nickname. AK-41, the alien Alvin Kamara. All right, I love him. He's definitely a top 2 back in this league to me. Yeah, you got Saquon. Yeah, you got Run CMC. And when they're healthy, they are just as electric as AK-41. But AK's got something that maybe Saquon or Zeke, right? Or maybe Run CMC and some of these other guys don't have. It's a chip on his shoulder. Going and being a guy from Tennessee, being a third round option, not a first round pick, not a second round pick. Anytime you go third, fourth round, and then you turn into being one of the top 2 guys in the league. Derrick Henry, has been winning rushing titles and is playing great, and you can pretty much argue that Derrick Henry, if he's the best running back in the league, I don't think anyone's going to argue with you. If you say AK-41 is the best, people that are Saints fans are going to get criticized, right? But I'm a Bucs fan. And I think that you legitimately can say, without any hesitation, without your team colors, showing off too much, I'm a Bucs fan, and I think that you could argue AK-41 is the best running back in the league overall. Because not only can he run through the guards and the tackles, he can catch better than Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has that crazy explosiveness and that look like a DK Metcalf at the running back position. But AK-41 is strong, shifty, right, fast, good hands. It seems like he's durable for most of the time. And he's a guy that can get you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You remember that Christmas Day game? Guy could have scored almost 10 touchdowns in that game. He's really got everything that you would want in a running back. And if I had my choice, even though Dalvin Cook, I feel, and with my ESP, that would be the logical choice. He played at Florida State, maybe a connection with Dalvin Cook, coming to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. CP, I don't know if you heard me, but I said if I could have my choice of having a running back out of all the free agents starting next year and beyond, Dalvin Cook would be the one that I would want on Tampa Bay. So if Dalvin Cook ends up being on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you heard it here first, June 10th, 2021, Dalvin Cook to the Bucs at some point. I kind of feel it. I don't know why, but AK-41, love him. Latavius Murray, isn't the greatest, secondary option. You got guys like Tony Pollard, Gus Edwards, and you're looking at the list, and Naheem Hines. But Latavius Murray, when he had a chance to play, with the Vikings, and then what you've been able to see when AK gets hurt, he's very capable of getting 100 yards. He's very capable of getting 1 or 2 touchdowns. So even though he's not a popular name, right? Even though I'm a Bucs fan, I don't have to be a fucking hater. That's a good duo. And the simple fact that LaDainian Tomlinson had my Bucs duo of Fournette and Rojo at 2, and he didn't even mention AK-41 and Latavius Murray. Maybe he thinks AK-41's great and Latavius Murray sucks. Maybe that's what LaDainian Tomlinson thinks, and that's why he didn't put him up. But he didn't even have him in the top 5. And that's why I made him the thumbnail, even though I was going to do my number 1, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. No one's stupid. We all know that is the best. If I said anyone different, you can do it for conversation or clickbait or whatever, right? But AK-41 is fantastic. Top 2 running back in this league. I would literally, honestly, take him just as much as I would take Derrick Henry, if not more. Probably more. I would take AK. AK, if I had one pick to pick, AK-41 would probably be the guy that I would want on Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? And then you got Derrick Henry. He'd be right up there. You got the Dalvin Cook, right? Run CMC, right? Saquon. But yeah, Cook and Madison in the top 5. I don't have them in my top 5, kind of on the outside looking in. But obviously, I'm going to give respect where respect is due. But I think Madison is a good backup for sure. AK and Ingram or Hunt and Chubb. Oh, man. Whoo! Well, the thing is they played at different times. So when AK and Ingram, when you guys had your run, your Super Bowl run, your Super Bowl squad with Drew, right? Drew Brees. He had about a 4 or 5 year run, right? That year with AK-41 and Mark Ingram, I mean, we saw what Mark Ingram did, a couple of years ago. And even, when Ingram, on the Ravens, there was a 15 to 20 touchdown kind of year. So I wish he was still there. We saw what he did at Alabama, but I'd probably go AK and Mark Ingram when they were in their prime together, slightly over Hunt and Chubb, even though Kareem Hunt is a top 5 running back. If you want to be a hater, top 10. Nick Chubb is a top 5 running back, but if you want to be a hater, top 10. But Kareem Hunt, I feel that if you look at all the running backs in the league, if you said, hey, Kareem Hunt is the 10th best running back in the league, 10 to 12, would anyone really argue? Yeah, you know what? He could be a starter on another team, and he could end up getting you, I think 8 to 15 touchdowns in a season. He's that good, just as many as Chubb. I mean, every time you see him in games, it seems like each of them's got a score or two. So the Browns, they know how to do their thing. But I just couldn't believe that they didn't have AK-41 or Latavius Murray in LaDainian Tomlinson's top 5. But like Madison and Cook, that's a great duo as well. Zeke and Tony Pollard. I mean, I'll just go over the ones that I respect. I mean, there's so many duos. Madison and Cook, obviously. Zeke and Tony Pollard. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Rojo and Fournette. Jonathan Taylor, Naheem Hines. Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, AK-41, the alien, Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, and number 1, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So, that's why I love you guys, and that's why I can be the biggest Bucs fan and Oregon Ducks fan on planet Earth. But when there is greatness in front of you, right, our team loyalties and the hate sometimes comes out when you're younger. But when you get older, if you're in your teens or, your early 20s, there's going to be a lot of a haterade that you're drinking. So much love with your team and your players, hating the rivals in your division and anyone that plays your team and can't give credit to the other superstars. But once you start appreciating the league as a whole and you get older and you can appreciate Monday night matchups and Thursday night and Sunday night other than your favorite team, then you start seeing the league a little bit differently. And I love giving credit where credit's due. You know what I mean? Like, even though AK-41 is on the number 1 rival of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're never going to hear a Buck fan give him love the way that I have, or say that that's my favorite running back in the league. Who does that? I mean, you're not going to hear anybody on TV or in podcasts say something like that, but when I say it, I'm not doing it for clicks or for ratings. I mean it. Because the thing is, if I could have AK-41 come to the Bucs, I can envision it in my head like, okay, if this guy was on my team, how would he play? Just like he's playing with the Saints. You know what I mean? He'd play that type of style. So, young Nola. I talk to him daily. You know what I mean? That boy's got a dream. Anyone that is a crazy Saints fan, he is delirious. And like I said, he'll defend the Saints, like he's defending his brother about to go to jail for, life. And he's never going to, just always, defending, even if he's wrong, even if he knows he's wrong. He's got that love for the team. But sometimes, I got to slap a little sense into him and say, hey, you had your run, right? I give credit where credit's due, but I got to give you the truth too. You just can't be, thinking that you're going to have the same type of squad or more wins without Drew Brees. I mean, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? You got to wait for that next veteran guy to come. But, anyone that's got a dream and it's hustling for a passion, him being a rapper, me establishing my legacy here on YouTube and other platforms, if you got a dream, go for it. I tell people all the time, you know what I mean? If you got a kid that's into gaming or, you got someone or yourself, you got something that you want to do Instagram or, you want to be a blogger or, a gamer or, you want to do YouTube channel. I mean, you see how much hard work and, detail it takes, you know what I mean? And you got to be, have a real strong heart and a strong head, you know what I mean? You got to be mentally tough. You can't be doing it just for the views, the likes, the subscribers, you know what I mean? You have to genuinely love it. And if, you're a real person and you genuinely love what you're doing, people can see it, people will fuck with you then, but you got to be consistent too. There's been times every day after work today, after I've worked an 8-9 hour shift on my feet all day long in the warehouse and I'm dead, right? I could have said, nah, fuck it. The NFL, nothing's really going on, right? I'm just going to chill and be lazy, you know what I mean? And just watch Simpsons and, just fucking watch my TV shows and relax and do that. But, I can't, you know what I mean? If I have the opportunity to show what I got and I'm going to give 100% on every stream, you're never going to see me do a bland stream with no, tonality. You're going to get my energy. You're going to get my personality. You're never going to get just like a boring live stream or reaction video or anything. It's always going to be cranked up to 110 on every single one, even when I'm tired. So you wouldn't even have known that I've worked an 8, 9, 10-hour day. But, like I said, if you have that love and passion for it, you do it, and that's what I'm doing. Fourth stream in the fourth day, and I'll try to do one tomorrow as well. So let's go over this one more time before I end the stream. I wanted to do about 30 minutes to an hour. We're about 55 minutes in. So just to recap, LaDainian Tomlinson, top 5 running back duos according to LT. All right, and this was on NFL Network today. All right, this is the purpose of the video. Number 5, Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines, according to LaDainian Tomlinson. Number 4, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 3, Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones, and A.J. Dillon at number 3. Number 2, Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, Buccaneers. Really? I'm a Buck fan, and I don't even think that they're number 2. Thanks, LT. And number 1, undeniably, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I mean, if you put anybody other than Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you have no credibility of anything NFL said unless you're trying to get clickbait and you're trying to get ratings. Period. There is no other duo that's even close to those two. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, A.J. Dillon, and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones? J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. And he's a pro. Right? I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers super fan, the biggest super fan of Tampa Bay on planet Earth. I didn't even want to put him in my top 5, to be honest. All right? But you got Dalvin Cook, right? And Madison, honorable mention. Zeke, Tony Pollard, little honorable mention. You could have James Atemene-Akana and Chase Edmonds, honorable mention. Right? You could have a lot of guys. Right? Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers, honorable mention. You could have all those ones in there. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, honorable mention. You could have all those. But all of my top 5 got great offensive lines. And I think that with Rojo and Leonard Fournette, they definitely don't have the most talent. They have the least amount of probably talent out of all the other 8 running backs that are in the top 4. But what they do have is a great offensive line, and they're led by Tom Brady and B.A. So when you get guys like Tristan Wirfs out there, and the rest of the offensive line who are beasts, every single one of them, Rojo and Fournette can turn it on and look like top 10 running backs at times. And that's all you need. It'd be great if they were both top, 20 running backs. Leonard Fournette is probably top 20, most of the time. Sometimes he's way worse. And Rojo can be a top 20, top 25 running back. Sometimes he'll put up top 10 stats like Fournette, but let's not hold them to a game-to-game type of consistency. It's every couple games, every 3 or 4 games, maybe that amazing game, and a couple kind of so-so games, 30, 40 yards, no touchdowns. But I love Rojo. I love Leonard Fournette. Playoff Lenny, Lombardi Lenny. I wouldn't have been able to win the Super Bowl without them, but more importantly, the offensive line and the secondary. That's why we won. Big facts. Number 5, Rojo and Leonard Fournette. LaDainian Tomlinson had him at 2. God damn, I got to write this fucker a letter. Number 2? Jesus Christ. Number 4, Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. Not Marlon Mack, even though he might be more talented, but I like Nyheim Hines because he's like Chase Edmonds. He's like a third down option back. He's crafty. He catch or he can run. He can do it all. I love Nyheim Hines, and Jonathan Taylor is one of the best 3-down backs that we've seen in the last couple years. It's Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris. Those are the top 3, like amazing, where you're going to be like literally watching every game. If you got him in fantasy, studs. Josh Jacobs, best running back in that class, right? Then you have who? Jonathan Taylor last year. And then now we're going to have Najee Harris. It's going to be must-see TV for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big facts. Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines at 4. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones. He plays like a top 5 running back, but never gets top 5 credit. Kind of like Keenan Allen. Kind of like Allen Robinson. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones. He's disrespected. All right? He's disrespected like Slim Thug. All right? He's disrespected. H-Town. You know what I'm talking about? That rap scene back then? Slim Thug? Slim Thugga? Oh, man. So many songs. Just trying to think of all the songs, all the grills. Man, that was a good time. There were some good rappers there in Houston. Believe that. But Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Love them. Aaron Rodgers saga is going to be one of those things where who knows if he plays for Green Bay, retires, Jeopardy. Eventually, he wants to leave next year. The Packers want him out next year, but then Aaron's like, fuck it, just trade me this year. You know what I mean? But they're not going to trade him, I don't think. So he might hold out. But eventually you got to think he's going to probably be forced to play because I don't think he's done playing football. And he could do Jeopardy full time, but you're the NFL MVP. You're not going to just walk off into the sunset Barry Sanders style. You know, the main thing is, like I said, with Swish a House. Damn right. Man, boys in the days. Oh, tipping on fofos. Oh, man. Tipping on fofos. Oh, I'm going to have to listen to that shit after. Swish a House. God damn it. All the grills, baby. All the fucking grills. Damn it. That's a good era, man. That's a good era. But Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, I mean, if Rodgers isn't there, they're going to pound the rock more. You can't trust Bortles. You can't trust, Jordan Love. But if Rodgers is there, a lot of check downs, a lot of goal line looks. Robert Tonyan was a stud in the tight end position as well. But A.J. Dillon will get to show that he can do his thing, even though Jamal Williams was pretty good last season too. Now he's on the Detroit Lions. And Aaron Jones plays like a top 5 running back, but never gets talked like one. He's top 10, but he puts up top 5 numbers, probably more than any other running back. Like he literally is, that guy that you're like, okay, he's top 10, maybe like number 9, number 10. And then you look at the touchdowns and he's got like number 1 in touchdowns or tied with Derrick Henry at like 2 or 3. It's like, oh, wow. It's like Run CMC is more popular and Christian McCaffrey and Zeke and Saquon. They're more like flashy and maybe more likable. AK-41, Derrick Henry, but Aaron Jones, I mean, depending on what team he went to, I mean, he would have the same kind of swag anywhere that he went. I would take him on Tampa. That's facts. Number 3, Aaron Jones. Who? Aaron Jones. And Swish a House, A.J. Dillon. Number 2 could have been number 1, but I can't put him up against Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. But I had to give him love because LaDainian Tomlinson didn't even have him on the goddamn list. Alvin Kamara, AK-41, my favorite running back in the league. Yes, I'm a Bucs super fan since 1995, but when I see greatness, just like when I see Kobe or Jordan, and I'm a Blazer fan, I give credit where credit is due, and that's what makes me different other than everyone else on planet Earth. Latavius Murray ain't no slouch either. You can put him in. I would take him on my team as well. Good third down option. And he's a guy that if someone got hurt like AK-41, you put him in, especially with Ryan Ramczyk and arguably the best offensive line in football. Yes, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, and I think that we have a top 10 offensive line, but the Saints' offensive line is better than ours. I'm not a hater. That's facts. They're better. Ryan Ramczyk is a stud. Look at the offensive line on the Saints. They got Sean Payton. All right, you got AK-41. You got Ryan Ramczyk and the amazing offensive line. Cameron Jordan, Lattimore, right? My friend, Demario Davis, a.k.a. the Glue, my friend. All right, so, I mean, they got some studs there. That's big facts. Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake, Johnny Alvarez. Yeah, facts. That's definitely going to be one of the duos. I just want to see Kenyon Drake stay healthy, though, because Josh Jacobs is already arguably a top 5 running back in this league. And if you don't want to put him at top 5, he's definitely 6, 7, 8, like somewhere in that range, right? Kenyon Drake is another guy too, like Aaron Jones, where if he stayed healthy enough, he could put up top maybe 15, maybe even as high as top 12 running back numbers. So you could have like a number 6 running back and maybe like a number 11 or number 12 running back in Kenyon Drake. But with Kenyon Drake, Paul Wall, baby. Paul Wall, ooh, baby. But Kenyon Drake has got a lot of skills. Loved what he did in Miami. You saw them kind of go with running back by committee. But I didn't put Drake and Josh Jacobs on my list because I just don't know if Drake can stay healthy. I don't know if Kenyon Drake, desert god, he's been on a couple different teams, bouncing around. But, Cardinals and then Miami and, now we're on the, Raiders. But I hope that he can stay healthy because their success, besides Trayvon Mulrig, the best safety in football, we're going to have to see those draft picks start panning out like the Cleveland Farrells and then, some of the guys on the back end. I mean, I need to be able to see guys not get hurt and see these guys pan out if the Raiders are going to do something. But that's a good one. I just don't know about Kenyon Drake. He's my kind of question mark. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping he doesn't get hurt, but something tells me he's going to get hurt. But he's got top 15 running back talent. That's facts. Kenyon Drake is very, very talented. I know you're trying to finish your list, but Break Him Off by Paul Wall on your playlist. Yes, I need to do that. I definitely will. Definitely got to get in the Swish a House, Slim Thug, Paul Wall, all that, H-Town. The greatness, man. The greatness. Well, I hope everyone had a great night. Like I said, your boy is grinding. LaDainian Tomlinson came out with this video. It's been a long, long day. But anytime, you want to talk NFL, your boy's going to be on, usually from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. So if you don't get the notification, just hop on and know that more than likely I'll be on at that time. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. My NFL top 5 running back duos going into 2021 with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or the GoFundMe or the Cash App for your boy. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on the YouTube page. Follow me, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. LaDainian Tomlinson, the Buccaneers at number 2. Much love, but we're not that good, but I'll take it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace. Bucks, baby. Number 2, LaDainian, you crazy.